as well. Let me double check before we fully start it, right? Looks like our YouTube is live as well. By the way, if you guys are not following so far, if you go to YouTube right now and type Modern Choice Financial Podcast, we're live on YouTube as well, and that's through our main system, so the sound and everything is even better. Eventually, we're going to evolve and go towards, making everything centralized through one system. And obviously, as we're handling the daily business and at the same time working on getting ready to take care of all these other technical stuff, it's not that easy, So bear with us. Eventually, everything gonna be out of one system. So when we go live, we're gonna go live in all the platforms at the same time. So it's gonna be a lot better. So what I'm going to do right now is, seems like we're having a little difficulty with TikTok. Obviously, they're all under Realtor Mehrooz. You can go there. So let me see if we can change the live on TikTok to a different device. So we're going to be operating a lot better. Hold on, please. All right, that's awesome. We're still running. Good to go. All right, let's gather up, making sure everybody's here before we start the topic of the day. All right. Checking the sound. All right, everything looks good. I think we're operational. Welcome to Modern Choice Financial Podcast, where we talk about real estate, insurance, mortgage, and a lot more. With the industry professionals as our podcast guests, we're planning to answer all our audience questions or questions that we're getting on a daily basis from our clients or from other peers or from our social medias. I think it become redundant. So at the point where we're thinking this podcast would help us to be more efficient, because if there's a question that's been asked, let's say 50 times, there's going to be more that is going to come up. So what we're trying to do is basically making sure we have a resource for our audience so they can go there and actually get that question answered at the same time many other questions that's been answered in our previous episodes or in our future episodes, if you guys request a specific topic that we can hopefully bring it on and talk about it. Here's what I can tell you. Good thing is your host is licensed in 3 different areas. I've done the last 8 years of my life trying to put all this thing together. Currently, in our office, we're set up, as you can probably see, as mortgage, real estate, and insurance brokerage, multi-service office. So client walks in, we can take care of their mortgage from all different mortgage companies, get them almost guaranteed the best rate in the market. We can try that for free, so you can see for yourself the validity of what I'm trying to tell you guys, right? We were pretty solid as far as, checking our rates based on what's in the market, because we're not a bank, right? we're a mortgage broker and we have access to everything out there. We're trying to basically shop around and find the best deal for our clients. That's the main goal. Also, as you guys probably know, if you guys been following my social medias, we just opened our own brokerage for real estate, Modern Choice Realty, about a couple of months ago, and this is a big news for us. And for the insurance world, we had the insurance brokerage since 2017. So now, I guess, being the broker on all three industries and going through all these classes and continuing educations and daily business and handling all that, I think I can comfortably talk about all these three topics. But the goal of our podcast is bringing other industry professionals so we can actually sit down and have a conversation about what's going on, what's been asked, and what is the hot topic, so we can actually answer those questions for our audience. So this way we have a better connection with you guys, and you have a resource that you can probably send to your friends, family, relative, right? If they have the same question, you can probably, hopefully down the road, rely on us. Hopefully, if everything works out, we're gonna hold ourselves accountable to go live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Obviously, we're human. Things might happen. Like today, today's topic, as we advertised that throughout the whole previous week, is mortgage and everything you need to know about it, right? But what happened is the guest in our podcast is a single mom with a couple of kids, and she had to unfortunately last minute cancel her arrival because she got stuck in some kids related stuff. So with that being said, what we're trying to do is, as I mentioned earlier, good thing is I'm a mortgage broker myself, so I can talk about all of that, but it's not about me talking about the stuff. I want to bring the different guests from different section of the industry, because when it comes to real estate is a very broad spectrum of industry. So let me kind of like break it down, right? Obviously, they start from the actual agents, right? We have the agents, we have the broker, that the agents are kind of like licensed under that brokerage and they do business under that brand or that name. And then we have the lending for the real estate, which is kind of like tied to real estate market, because unless you have cash, without lending, you can buy real estate, right? So you gotta have that. Within the lending, we have appraisers that are big industry, which if you've been following our podcast, about 2 or 3 episodes ago, we had an appraiser, one of the OGs of appraisers, been doing the business for over 20 years, as a guest in our podcast. We talked about that, and we're going to have more different appraisers to be invited in the future, so we can talk more about different section of appraisal, and we're trying to educate the homeowners, right, that they're trying to list their property, to make sure they list it at the right price if they really want to sell it, right? And then also the borrowers or the buyers at the same time, when they're planning to put an offer on a property, they do the right thing, they be realistic, and this way, if they want to win the bidding war, or they really truly love this one property and they're like, you know what, I can't afford to lose this property because this is the home of my dream, I really love this, I really need this. So a couple thousand up and down is probably not going to make a big difference, especially when you get a loan. Rule of thumb is, let's say every $10,000 that you borrow, it's going to be roughly about $60 a month on your payment, right? Obviously, It all depends what kind of interest rate you got, what kinds of term you got, whether if it's 15 years term, 30 years term, what is your credit and all that, and that all factor into your rate that determine what is your monthly payment going to be. But it's roughly about, if you want to kind of like do your math, every 10,000 that you borrow in this market is about $60 a month. So let's say 5,000, half of that is $30 a month. Is it worth it for me paying $30 more a month, adding $5,000 to my offer, but get the property that I really love and is fully upgraded? I don't need to do anything, spend my time, effort, and money to renovate the property and get it ready to move in, right? So all these, just like all kinds of different things. Going back to the core of what I was explaining earlier, real estate industries. So we got the lending side, we got the what's in it, and then we have title and escrow. Next week, if everything works out and we don't have any last minute cancellation, unfortunately, it's a holiday season right now and there's a lot going on, and I'm expecting some cancellation, right? And most of the people that I know, big majority of them already, they're not like myself, solo, and they have family, they have kids or whatever, and I need to be respectful of their personal life. If they happen to be able to actually be here at the time when we decided to go live, which is every Wednesday at 6 p.m., that would be a blessing. If not, well, good thing is your host is able to talk about all those topics, right? Like today, about 3 p.m., we got the cancellation. I knew that it's not going to happen. I'm like, okay, well, today's topic was already marketed in our social media. It's technically supposed to be about mortgage topic. So as a mortgage broker, I'm going to mainly talk about that. But before that, I'm giving you guys all this foundational work so we can actually lay the foundation for what we're going to talk about, and obviously the topic going to be surrounding that. Before anything, again, currently we're live on YouTube and my Facebook page, Realtor Mehrooz. Everything been branded since the beginning under Realtor Mehrooz, even though I'm no longer realtor or real estate agent. I just turned my license to be a broker. We kept that because realtor is a better brand. People know the realtor as an R for realtor, and it's been trademark and all that. That's why we kept everything under Realtor Mehrooz. So all my social medias, they're all under Realtor Mehrooz, including the YouTube channel. But within the YouTube channel, we have the little playlist called Modern Choice Financial, and if you go there, look for Realtor Mehrooz. It's live already, and that's going through the main sound system, which is getting edited every week, and on the following week on Friday it's getting posted for the edited version of our episodes, so you can actually go back and see that. So the sound and the video quality and everything is obviously a lot better on that one. With that being said, let's dive in. Let's dive into our topic of the day. Mortgage. And what's going on in the market. And is it a good time to buy? Or should I still be renting and wait for the better times to come? Here's what I can tell you guys. I'm going to give you the quick answer, and I'm going to give you the long answer for reasoning behind my quick answer. Here's the thing. Obviously, we need owners and renters. That's how it is. Like, we need the company owner and we need the worker. Probably the best way I can put it together. The owners have a different mentality and they're ready for it. Just like the owner of a business. There's a lot going on in a business. You have to be ready to go through the financial and all the like everyday night, morning, before sleep, in your sleep, thinking about your business and how you can grow it and what you do in it, right? Marketing it and doing whatever you can, dealing with the staff, showing up, not showing up. This is the owner mentality. The other part of it is the employee mentality. They just want to come in, clock in. They start thinking about, okay, I'm here at work. Let me see what I need to do. And then they clock out. That's it. They're done. They don't need to think about it. Same concept. We do need these two type of people. Not everybody can or will be an owner. Not everybody can or will be a renter. That's the quick answer. But I'm going to go further. And it is not for everybody, obviously. But if you know enough, then at least you're making the wise decision. And to be honest, this is the entire reasoning behind our podcast, because we want to have the full transparency. A lot of you guys are probably my friends on social media, and you kind of know me. Some of you guys know me very more in depth, and you kind of know my personality. And you guys know that I'm a very straight shooter. Sometimes some people might don't like it, but at least I'm being real with people. And since I plan to be in the business for long term, from day one, I decided to be very real with my audience, with my clients, with my friends. Obviously, most of my friends are either my current client or have done business together or going to be my future client, right? So I choose to have true transparency, and this is my motto in my business and my life. And we factor that into our podcast too. It's not a show. We're not having a show for you guys, okay? We're giving you the real inside out information, like bad or good, everything you need to know, like the true inside out. So with that being said, let's lay the groundwork. Renting versus owning. There's benefit to both, right? But at the end of the day, obviously the biggest benefit is for owning, but it comes with the baggage, right? You have to be ready to be a homeowner. Meaning, let's put it together. If you're a homeowner, obviously, the home is yours. You have responsibility. Let's say if you're in an HOA community, you have to follow their guideline, which is a good thing. A lot of people think HOA is bad. In all honesty, it's not that hard. Check the area of town that they don't have HOA versus area where there is HOA. There's rules that people need to follow. So you don't have this guy that's running a mechanic shop out of his garage, right? Or this other guy doing like all kinds of things, painting their house blue, right? You can't do anything if there's no HOA. There's not set of rules that being implemented in the community. That's why those areas eventually become the rundown side of the city or community versus the other side of town. Let's say we're in Las Vegas, right? Within Las Vegas, there are certain communities or certain neighborhoods that have been around since 80s. I lived in one of them, Spring Valley, for about 11, 12 years. Spring Valley is still holding their value so like rock solid. Why? Because there's HOA and there's rules that people can follow or should follow. They can paint their house green. I'm just saying, just one of the examples. They have to make sure their front yard is always clean. Their trees in front of their house, or if they have a flower or any sort of greeneries, they're staying green. They're not dying, right? So there's benefit to that. Some people, they don't like it, but I don't know why they don't like it, to be honest. See, there's different angle of view, obviously, for everything. But let's talk about the benefits, pros and cons, right? for me, when I'm looking at renters, the best way for me to define a renter, someone that rents a property, is, let's get it straight. You're paying your landlord's, the owner of the property's mortgage. That's the best way we can put it together. Let's just be real about it, right? And especially nowadays with the rent went up a lot, at least in the greater Las Vegas area. Let's say you're renting a house with 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a decent sized yard, 2-car garage, whatever. You're expected to pay anywhere from $2,500 to $3,000 a month, depends on what neighborhood it is, right? Or how the quality of the house is, like how clean and how like upgraded it is. That's your mortgage right there, right? You're basically paying this money to your landlord. He's taking the money from you and paying his mortgage. Say thank you. Nothing wrong with that. As I said, we need both of those, right? We need the landlord to go through the hustle of purchasing the property, taking over the ownership of the property, all the responsibility that comes with it, making sure it's properly insured, making sure it's properly, within the community, it's not causing any issue, paying their tax and insurance and everything else on time, right? And also, there are people that, for whatever reason it is, there's nothing with renting, nothing wrong with renting. Temporarily, it's great. But in the long run, I think it is not a real best choice, especially if you can afford to pay this much per month. Let's take it even a step further. Now, you afford to pay about $2,800 a month for your rent. You are already paying it. And let's put it this way. This money that you pay, it goes forever out of your life. Like, this is a guarantee. Like, if there's only one thing right about renting, is the money that you pay every month is gone from your life forever. Bye-bye. On the other hand, if you're paying that same money for mortgage, it's building equity in your house. It's like a little saving account that you keep putting your money in it. Let's say day one, you got the loan, you bought the house, the loan is about $400,000 loan. 2 years down the road, you don't owe $400,000 on that property. You owe probably $380,000. Depends how much you pay every month, right? Let's say down the road you decide that, hey, this home is either too big or too small. This is one of the two major reasons people sell their property, right? They either outgrow the property, like it was a kind of like a primary house for them, or their very first house that they bought, now their family growing, they need a bigger place. They're planning to sell their property and buy other property, bigger or maybe different area, whatever the case might be. Or now they're older, the kids are grown, they're out of the house, and the house used to be a 5-bedroom, 2-story house. Now they're just a little older, the stairs are killing them, cleaning the house is too much, it's just too big of a house. Now they want to downcrease, they want to sell the property, go to a 1-story house, a smaller house, more manageable, and all that. So I'm just creating 2 separate scenarios. Whatever the case is, when the owner trying to sell the property, they don't owe the same amount from the day one when they purchase the property. Obviously, it depends on how long passed from the day they purchase the property. They owe less, right? Sorry, there's like different cameras in here. I want to look at each one of them at any given time. So when they sell, they only pay the bank what they owe. Let's say now 10 years down the road, they owe only $250,000. Not to forget, in all reality, the houses are usually in the trend of last 100 years. If you look, houses, yes, in the macro market, let's say 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, they were a little bit declining. Or when 9/11 happened, we had a year of little recession in the market. Obviously, it affected the housing market and the prices dropped. But in the long run, when you own the property 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 5 years even, you never lose money. I mean, this is a trend. Yes, it might come down a little bit, goes up, come down, goes up. But in the long run, in the history of real estate, it always went up. It's always upward. Why? Because there's only so much land and our population grows and people need housing. And as our population grows and people get older, they form their own family, they want their own privacy. Now there's a housing need. Matter of fact, as we talk, there is a shortage in housing. Like we need more houses. We need builders to build more houses. That's why now what they're trying to do, those big investors, and actually build, I don't know, in other side of a country or other cities or micro markets, but in Las Vegas, I don't know if you guys noticed, in the last 3 years, those apartment complexes got more than 2 stories, 3, 4, 5 stories, and they're all over the town. They're building like there is no tomorrow, right? Why do you think? You think they're out of their mind? Like these big investors, they're gigantic master plan. You think these people just lost their mind? Like, let's just build something. Let's just hope that it's gonna work. No, they do their due diligence. They run the market. They know this market supports it before they dig the hole for their foundation. So there's a lot of shortage for housing, right? So they're building. Now they're trying to at least support what's coming in for all those people that forming their own new family, or they just want to be in their privacy. You know, they're going to their own property. Give them something, whether it's in the form of apartment to rent or condos to buy. This is like a entry-level house, right? Eventually, you have the family, you grow, you need something bigger. And there's a cycle, right? At one point, you need bigger house, then towards the end, you need a smaller house, right? That's just how it works. That's how real estate has a cycle. Either way, the owner in the long run never loses, right? I'm not saying that the renters are losers. Please, don't try to take that the wrong way. Obviously, if you guys are misinterpreting my my verbiage, it might go a wrong direction. But what I'm trying to say is, obviously, there's a time in our life where we should rent, or we have to rent, or that's just how it is. But as soon as you feel like, you know what, now that I can afford to pay $2,500 a month, $3,000 a month, I'm paying my landlord's mortgage. Let's go buy something from myself. That's my own. I can do whatever I want with it, like interiorly, right? Like change the design of it, or paint my wall inside my house black if I want to. Nobody cares. It's your house, right? Or building the equity in it down the road. Beside paying down your mortgage balance, which down the road when you're selling your property, you're gaining the money back. You also, as the market goes up in value, your house value goes up. So you're winning twice, right? The money that you pay is not gone from your life like if you're renting. That money is gone forever, right? But you're building equity on your house. On top of that, in the long run, the home values are actually rising, and you're winning like twice. So let's go back to the other point of it. Now, I'm not talking as a real estate broker anymore. I'm talking about your lender, right? Thanks God, with all the disclosure, I can talk for all these topics. I'm licensed in all of them, so let's just have that segment of conversation. The big question right now is, should I buy or should I wait? Here's what I can tell you. If you look around, big majority of people that they're still renter, they're always waiting for that right time. When the mortgage rates are lower, like the last 2-3 years, obviously that means there's a lot of buyers in the market, and the market is hot because there's more people qualified, right? Obviously, demand is high. It's a business 101, demand and supply and demand, right? So there's so many people in the market because interest rates are lower. Now there's so much demand and there's only so much homes for sale, right? Obviously, now instead of the home get 2 offers, it might get 20 offers. It might get 30 offers. Matter of fact, back in 2020 and 2021, and big portion of 2022, if I was representing the buyer, during my buyer's consultation, I was letting them know, hey, let's just sit down and I want you to be mentally ready for this market because this is a very challenging and very competitive market. You have to be ready to see probably 60 houses and put offer maybe between 10 to 25 houses on average. Maybe one of them get accepted. This was the reality, and many of you guys that you bought through my team, you went through it with me, you know that. And so now, on top of not getting what you really want, you're just hoping that you get anything. At this type of market, people are actually just hoping to get something like hey, I just lost 10 offers that I sent out. I forfeited my my appraisal right, like meaning doesn't matter how much the home appraised as in real value of the property, I'm gonna pay whatever for it. I have $20,000 extra, I'm just gonna pay for that home just to get a home, right? Because the interest rate is lower and people get into that mood of, oh my God, if I don't buy, I'm gonna lose this market. So they're just doing whatever to get anything, right? That's what pump up the market to the point where it becomes like so challenging. On the flip side, this is a true buyer's market. And if you miss the boat, I'm gonna come back a year down the road, 2 years down the road. I'm gonna send you today's podcast to you and say, hey, you remember that day when I was warning you or trying to educate you or kind of like let you know what's going on so you be aware of making the wise decision, the right decision. Don't tell me, at least I didn't do my responsibility to let you guys know. This is a complete buyer's market. Let me explain why. Right now, because interest rate is high, a little bit, it's not really high. Back in 80s and 90s, we had as high as 18%. You might say, oh, people over there during that time, there were the home prices was lower too. But guess what? People were earning less money too, right? Like anyone during that time, no matter what have you done, you wouldn't earn the money that you earn today. So yes, inflation is real, everything is there, but the reality is the salary or amount of income from whether like your daily work or if you own a business, it's not equivalent to 1980s or 1990s. So let's be realistic, not only look at the stuff in one angle. Let's be real about the stuff, like look at it in a realistic angle of view. So incomes were lower during that time. Interest rate, this is not what I say. Everything I say is fact. You guys go to Google it. Housing market in United States. I don't care about Canada. I don't care about Brazil, right? We're talking about United States of America, right? So the trend of housing market is in Google. You can go look at it. Or interest rate in last 50 years, right? We had as high as 18%, and people still bought. Why? Because they need housing. What are they going to do? Rent? If they can't afford, the payment is technically the same. Why wouldn't I buy, right? Why would I still paying rent? So let's go back to what I was trying to paint for you guys, right? So Why I'm saying this is complete buyer's market? Because we're not on a market that sellers are dictating, because there's other 20 or 30 buyers that put an offer on that property, and if you don't buy it, this other 20 guys gonna buy it. Matter of fact, they're gonna pay more than what I even asked for my property. So this was a market that we just got out of. True, complete seller's market. Seller were dictating every single angle of the market. Right now, it's exactly opposite. Whether you're gonna buy a brand new home, right? They're giving a lot of incentive. They even drop their price. They give you extra money towards your closing costs. They do whatever they can to sell their property. Same thing with the regular resale properties. Like, let's say average Joe want to sell his home or her home. They're ready already to pay some money towards buyer's closing costs. So it's exact opposite. 2 years ago, you would pay extra on top of the real value of the property, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on average. In some cases, I've seen people pay $30,000 over real appraisal value just because they wanted the home. And the home actually had the value. It's just the appraisal was not catching up to the market value in a timely manner. So people had no choice but paying out of pocket extra to get that deal done. Anyway, going back to our conversation, currently sellers are actually paying buyers some money towards their closing costs so they can actually buy down their rate. If you guys don't know about buy down, we're gonna have a whole segment about it, but I'm gonna explain it further. Just bear with me, okay? So buyers are getting rewarded from the seller, and also the property values are actually, because of the demand is not as much, due to the fact that there's not as many buyers in the market, because a lot of people, they don't know any better. I'm sorry, I gotta say it the way it is. They think I'm going to wait, right? Well, those are the same people, when the interest rate was lower, they were waiting for the home price to come down. That's what I was explaining earlier. Right? This is so much of a broad topic. I don't want to get distracted, so I want to follow you guys through this whole thing, right? Those same people that when the interest rate was lower and obviously the house market was hot, the price of a house was higher, they were waiting for the home price to come down. They're waiting, like, oh my God, the home price is so high, I'm gonna wait. And when the home price comes down, it won't come down just magically out of nowhere. The only way for home price to come down is because there's not enough demand for it. And the only biggest factor to that is somehow there's not enough buyers in the market, equal, not enough demand. So the home sellers, they need to, it's not as hot of a market. We're not the hot commodity anymore. Let's just lower our price if we really want to sell, right? So now the home prices in certain communities or certain sector of town decrease about 10 to 15%. So let's say a $500,000 house 2 years ago worth about 450 nowadays in most cases, right? So right there you get about 10% discount on the houses that you used to pay for about 2 years ago, not too long ago, 2 years ago, literally, maybe even less, a year and a half ago, right? So we got the decrease on the price of the properties because of the supply-demand issue. There's not as much demand due to the fact that a lot of people, they don't follow Modern Choice Financial Podcast and they don't know any better. They don't think properly. And they think, oh my God, I'm gonna wait for the interest rate to come down. They just forgot. Here's the thing, there's a gift that all human beings have called being forgetful. That's how we can get through some tough time. We forget, like let's say someone have a loss in their family. If they cannot eventually get over it or forget about it, they're gonna get depressed. They're gonna be depressed for the rest of their life, right? That's why God put this ability in us so we can forget about certain things. In a lot of cases in our life, it's good. It's actually a good thing. But in a lot of cases, it's horrible because we forget so quick. Not too long ago, 2 years ago, maybe even a year and a half ago, maybe I was the same guy that I was waiting for the home price to come down. Now my wish became reality. Home prices came down, but the only way for home price to come down is because there's not enough demand, meaning there's not that many buyers in the market, and the only way there's not that many buyers in the market is there's not that many qualified buyers due to the fact that interest rate went up and not very many people can be qualified. Duh! That's it. I hope it makes sense for you guys. So here's the main point I want to make. If you can afford the mortgage today, let's say you're already affording to pay $2,800 a month rent, that means you can afford to pay the same amount for your mortgage, right? Buy. For many reasons. Number one, because one thing is for sure, your rent will go up. On the other side, your mortgage can come down. They will never really go up. If it goes, it's going to be very minimal due to the fact that maybe your insurance goes up because you put so many claims. That's a whole another topic I don't want to touch today. But the only part in your fixed mortgage that can vary is your insurance rate and your tax rate, right? Otherwise, your principal and interest, if it's a fixed rate, it ain't going to change. So it's going to stay the same. The only part that changes is your insurance rate and your tax rate. That might change, right? And it's not going to be a crazy change. So we're comparing your rent guaranteed to go up, your mortgage almost guaranteed that it only can go down in time. Why? Guess what? Today's rate is, let's say on average 7%. A year down the road, hopefully our Sleepy Joe get his stuff together and is like, you know what? Before I leave, I'm gonna make it better for people, and I'm gonna leave some sort of a good remark, and I'm gonna hopefully bring the interest rate down. But that's again another topic. I don't want to get so deep in it. But what I can tell you is what goes up must comes down. This is the rule of land. Okay. That's just how it is. It can't stay up forever. It won't stay down forever. The thing is, you should act in a timely manner before you miss the boat, right? Here's the thing. Today, if you can afford to pay a mortgage, due to the fact that you're already paying that much per month for your rent, you have to buy if you're asking me. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you should be ready. Your next lease renewal, your rent will go up on average about 3 to 5%. That's just a fact. Then you have a chance, very high probability chance, almost a guarantee that your mortgage will go down. There's multiple different ways your mortgage can go down. For example, a lot of people, if they're not putting 20% down as a down payment, they have what's called mortgage insurance. It's because of the fact that the mortgage companies, they're thinking that since you don't have enough skin in the game, if something happened in your life, you will let this home go and you won't even care about if you're gonna have a foreclosure in your home, in your credit or whatever. A lot of people have done that, right? So that's why up until the time that you have actually 20% equity in a house, you should have mortgage insurance. Now guess what? Once you reach 20% equity in the house, you can request for your mortgage insurance to be taken off, and by law your mortgage company have to do that. All right, I'm telling you as a mortgage broker right now, I'm figuring that out right now, right? And that's one way your mortgage will go down. That's guaranteed, right? The other way is eventually the interest rate will come down and you can refinance your mortgage to a lower rate, And now, guess what just happened? Some amazing, magical thing just happened. You won twice. Let me explain how. You bought the house on average between 10 to 15% less than past 3 years, right? And when the time comes, you can refinance and make your mortgage lower per month, right? Due to the fact that this is an option that you have when you're a homeowner. That's a big, huge benefit to you. There's a saying in real estate or mortgage industry. It goes like this. When you're trying to purchase your dream home, right? It's like finding your dream girl or your dream spouse, right? It's like you're marrying the house of your dream, but you're dating the rate, because the rate can change. Once you find your dream home, get it, marry with it, okay? Because eventually when the rate goes lower, you can always change that to a other rate. It's like dating situation, right? You're dating this mortgage rate today, and then when the better rate comes up, nobody will stop you. You can always refinance to a better rate. That's another way your mortgage can and will go down. So at the end of the day, you guys be the judge. I don't want to say you should do this or you should do that, but run the scenarios for yourself and think which one is better. Stay as a renter or eventually become a buyer or owner. Currently, the reason why we keep saying this is a complete buyer's market is because of these two main reasons. You're buying a house at a discounted price, number one. To begin with, you already paid less for the properties. On top of that, down the road, you can lower your monthly payment, monthly housing payment, almost guaranteed when the time comes when you can refinance to a lower rate, right? So now you won twice. But if you're renting now, first of all, your rent payment every month is completely out of your life. That money is gone. You will never see that money back in your pocket. Versus when you're owning a home, it goes to your home as an equity, right? Plus, there's only one way, rent goes up. If we can go on and on, I don't want to take this to be 2 hours conversation. Obviously, we're going to have, if Lord help us, many different episodes. What we're trying to do is we're going to keep everything in the area of real estate, mortgage, and insurance. Actually, our insurance topic last week got a lot of great comments, and I would love to thank you right here before it's too late, before I forget. And obviously, there are some questions that we received. We're definitely going to answer them in a future topic. Maybe what I'm planning to do is once a month, since we're going to be live at least for now, at the minimum, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. So we're gonna do one Wednesday a month, anything regarding insurance. So we got a lot of questions that is regarding our previous episode for insurance. We're gonna answer them in our future upcoming episode. But today, mainly, I really thought it would be a great idea before it gets too late. I do whatever I can to hopefully help, even if it would be a help for one person as my audience, it would be a blessing for me, because down the road they're going to thank me. They say, hey, thank you, Mehrooz. If it wasn't because of me listening to your podcast or watching you talking about that, breaking it down and help me get to that aha moment that, oh my God, like this is real fact. Because as I said earlier, we're trying to only and only talk fact in here. And I always hold my guests accountable to not come in here with a personal opinion. It's all fact-based, because obviously this is a reputation of our podcast, our image. We want to make sure you guys getting the right real inside out information and making the wise decision, whatever it might be. At the end of the day, as I said from the beginning, this world needs homeowners and renters. All these apartment complexes or houses that are for rent, they need a renter. And there's nothing wrong with renting. The only thing is you have to compare. We all have different situation in life. We know better. It's our life and financial decisions. But at the end of the day, if you want to build wealth, and here's another real important thing that I believe it would be good for all of us to pay attention. Let's look at all these millionaires and billionaires. Eventually, big majority of them, they might earn their main income from somewhere else. Let's say they were a doctor, they were a big business owner, whatever. But when the big snowball effect of their wealth creation happened, it happened through real estate. From Donald Trump all the way to big, huge, I don't know, I'm sure most of you guys heard of Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? Shout out to him. He opened so many people's eyes to best financial decisions in their life, right? Robert Kiyosaki. If you didn't read that book, please go read it. I endorse that. He didn't pay me. You probably don't even know I'm talking about it, but it's a very powerful book. I think, especially for our generation, it's one of those books that you need to have it in your bookshelf or in your audiobook. It's very important for financial literacy and understanding what's going on in the market. You want to build your family wealth. You want to have your future. It's almost always leading to real estate investment, because there's only one way in that. Eventually, as I mentioned, throughout the course of the history, home values always goes up. Yes, there are some dips, but we're talking about the long term, right? We're talking about 50 years, 20 years of span. And the houses that people bought in 2000 or 90s or 80s, now it's quadrupled the price, tripled the price. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like you buy today and next year some crazy things happen, a Sleepy Joe happen again, and our market get a little tweak, and obviously we're having some inflation and all that. Here's another thing, actually. Inflation, let's talk about that. I mean, I want to conclude this, but I just feel like you guys really need to know this stuff. Or maybe you know it, I just need to refresh your mind to hopefully wake you guys up and have you almost force you into making a better decision. That's my goal, okay? Whether you're gonna utilize our services or not, as long as you guys doing the right thing, the blessing goes to us, and we're very grateful to see people successful in their life. Obviously, as you guys know, we're set up as a multi-service office. We do mortgage, real estate, insurance, tax, whatever. We try to help people. We try to build a nice community of friends that are our client, or clients that turn into our best friends. That's our goal. Because every one of my previous clients, almost every one of them, they already refer me at least one or two new client, or now they are my new friends. And this is a community we try to build, and the only way we can build it and sustain it is with being transparent and truthful to you guys as our audience or our friends. And that's our motto. With that being said, don't forget the fact that inflation is real. It's here, big elephant in the room, right? So here's another thing. How do you think when lumbers, what people use, the builders use to build the properties, are at least, if not 3 times more the price, at least twice the price, how would the builder would build a property with twice as much expense and end up selling it to you less? Let's think about it. I leave that to you guys. And with that being said, let's conclude that. If you guys have any comment about what I'm saying, if there is an area that you want more clarity, please comment below. As I mentioned, our podcast gets edited in our video version, goes to our YouTube channel under Modern Choice Financial Podcast. You can see that on our YouTube channel. Or if you plan to just listen to the audio version of it, you can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Castbox, many different areas where you can find us and listen to our previous episode or future episodes. What I can really hope for or wish for, and I hope you guys really pay attention to this part, is important for us. If you think our contents, our informations that we're trying to share with you guys is informative enough, is helpful enough, please share it with your friends, family, whoever you care about. Especially today's topic is very important because people lost the boat or missed the boat. They're confused. They don't know what to do. And hopefully I try to clear the path for you guys to make a better decision. As I mentioned, last thing I want is 5 years down the road, 20 years down the road, I see you guys still thinking, hey, I'm waiting for that right time, Right now, interest rate is too high. I'm going to wait for it to come down. And then when interest rate comes down, the home prices are up. You're like, oh my God, I want to wait for the home price to come down. You're never going to have both of them together. Let's just get that fact straight. Ain't going to happen. Okay? Today is the best time for you as a buyer to buy because the home prices are already in discounted price. You're paying less for the actual price of the home. On top of that, you have a chance to lower your mortgage if you're buying properties with mortgage with many reasons. And if you missed that party, if you just join in, please go watch. I explained that. I don't want to keep repeating myself like I'm crazy. Okay? So go watch the earlier point. I explained as much as I could. There's many more reasons behind it. Obviously, in the future episodes when we have the actual guests that are mortgage professionals just like myself, we can talk about everything mortgage related way more in depth, like crazy in depth. All right, so I'm gonna conclude this with a couple of last announcement. As we talk today in Clark County, we're not talking about LA, we're not talking about New York or any other place, because mortgage rates or mortgage limits, let me correct myself. Mortgage limits are different in every counties. In Clark County, currently, FHA limit that you can get as a loan is $498,257 to be exact. So let's talk about that. FHA mortgage limit in Clark County right now as we talk in November of 2023. $498,257 right now you can get a loan. That will be your max amount of borrowing limit in FHA platform. If you're planning to purchase with conventional loan, it can be as high as just your loan limit, right? On top of whatever is your loan limit, you can pay whatever you want on top of that from your pocket as a down payment, right? So your loan limit as a conventional purchase is $766,550 to be exact. So let's review that. Conventional loan limit today in Clark County towards end of 2023 is $766,550. If you're ready, I don't know what you're waiting for. Let's get connected. Let's make us, happy with being able to help you. Matter of fact, we built a website for this. I firmly believe everybody deserves to have their dream home, and this thing was keep going around in my head, and we made a domain for it. Yourdreamhome.is yourdreamhomeispossible.com. Go to our website, yourdreamhomeispossible.com, and see all these platforms. We keep updating the website. We're building the back end for the mortgage side. It's in process. Since I just became a mortgage lender about a year and a half ago, but I want to make sure that section of the website is fully functional. On top of that, we have our other website, greatervegas.houses.com. greatervegas.houses.com. You can go there, you can get connected there as well. But yourdreamhomeispossible.com is there for all the informative stuff. We have all our blogs there. We have, eventually we're gonna unload all the down payment assistance programs. We didn't get a chance to talk about that. I know, as I said, this is a very heavy topic. I can't just unload everything in one episode. So in our future episode, if you guys are following, I'm gonna reveal all the available down payment assistance as we talk to all of you guys in the state of Nevada, especially in Clark County. So we got all kinds of different programs. There are programs that they pay as high as $30,000. Believe it or not, free money, grant. Take advantage of it before you miss the boat. I'm telling you, do not miss it. You're gonna regret it. Other than that, I hope it's informative. See you guys in our YouTube channel, in our social media. They're all under Realtor Mehrooz. And with that being said, thank you guys for following. Ciao. Talk to you guys soon. All right. All right, let me stop the YouTube streaming, and all of you guys, whether you're on TikTok or my